Hi, Ash. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How are you? How are things going today?
I'm good. It's been a great day so far. I'm so excited for tomorrow.
Well, that's awesome because I have to tell you something. I'm in Toronto and this giant blizzard just started, and I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
I've had enough of this weather. Like 2 weeks
No.
ago, I was in like a t-shirt. Anyway,
Oh
I
my gosh. It's almost like you need to go to Miami.
seriously, okay. So you need to have me come and stay with you, and then I'm good to go. So it's all listen, congratulations on everything. You're so great. I binged all 10 episodes of Pulse already. I'm done.
My
And
God, I love
who
that.
doesn't love a good medical
No,
drama?
that's exactly what I say. I love a medical drama. I
Okay,
also binged it once they added it to my Netflix too. I binged it in one
right?
night.
I got it like weeks ago and I'm like, I had no idea I was going to do any interviews. And I was like, I don't care. I just did the whole thing, right? Now, I want to ask you, okay, so first of all, what's some of your favorite ones? Which one like that you cannot miss?
Grey's Anatomy put me onto the genre itself,
Yeah.
especially those first 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Recently, The Pit,
Okay.
The Pit,
Right?
yeah.
Oh, I'm done. Like I'm already done. They give me all that stuff too. So I'm finished pit
Oh,
too.
you're so lucky. I'm
Yeah.
waiting like week after week.
You have
Oh
two
my
left,
God.
I think now. You only have
Yes.
two left. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yes.
don't worry. Be patient. So you know what? I have to say, I don't know about you. Sometimes I do like getting things week to week, like with White Lotus. You know what I mean? Like some, right?
It is nice, especially White Lotus, because it is such a cultural phenomenon. I've been doing like these dinner parties with friends on Sunday night
Yeah.
where we have dinner, we hang out, and then we put the episode on, and it's nice. It's not, it's like, okay, because binging is nice, but binging is something you do on your own. When
Right.
it comes out like week after week, you kind of get to do it with other people. So it's
Yes.
nice.
And it's
Yeah.
a lot to digest. And I find that with the pit as well,
Yeah.
because each hour there's so much that you want to digest that
Yeah.
it's not good to jump into the next hour, I
No,
think.
it's
Oh
too
no.
much. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, so that's a great thing about the Pulse because you can watch it on your own or you can just binge it all. Like
Exactly.
it's totally,
Exactly.
what do you think it is about the Pulse that makes this one a little different from others?
I think it feels grittier. And
Mm.
I think the drama between the characters is so grounded. And it just feels real.
Yeah.
Everything, whether it's our hair and makeup, it's not really done that well. It looks like we kind of did it ourselves. The cinematography at times is a little shaky, and you're like, oh, am I supposed to catch that?
Yeah.
And it just enhances that tone of that authenticity.
Yeah.
I like that it takes place in Miami. I think that's really fresh for medical drama. We've yet to see that, and that's
100%.
and
Yes.
Miami is such a unique place because it's this hodgepodge of diversity and culture. And so using that as the backdrop, I think only enhanced that realness
Yeah.
factor. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that sets it apart.
I agree. And also being set in Miami, it's so realistic because of the hurricanes. Like, I mean, this isn't something that like, oh, this would never happen. Yeah, it
Yeah.
happens a lot there,
I
right? So
know.
you
Milton was
feel
just here.
okay,
So
exactly,
yeah.
and so you feel like, and you don't think about it, like, especially me, I live here in Canada, whatever. And I mean, I know I'm not oblivious to the weather changes and everything. We get it here too. Like I said, it's blizzard right now, which is insane.
Blizzard.
But with a hurricane, we don't really, we see all the tragedy that happens, what happens to the homes, what happens to the people. We don't really get to see stories about what happens to people who need to go to the hospitals, these trauma
Yeah.
centers.
Yeah.
So
It's
tell me a
true.
little bit about, because, okay, well, first let's talk about your character, Nia. She's an EMT.
Yes. Yes.
It's a little bit of romance and everything too. It's not just all action
A
for her.
little bit.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a little bit. But tell me a little bit about how you prepared, kind of made it to play her and get into her mindset. Did you spend time with EMTs?
So I got the offer. I had read for two other roles on the show before I got the offer for Nia.
Okay.
And once I learned that she was a paramedic, I reached out to a friend of mine who I knew was friends with a paramedic and spoke to them on the phone, took a whole host of notes. By the time I got to set, the hardest part was the physicality.
Right.
You're handling these stretchers that are so intricate, and there's like all these protocols with them, and then the handling of the bodies themselves, like
Mm,
we're lifting take after take. And those were the things that I didn't think about. I just was like, oh, it's a TV show. Surely someone else will do the stretcher stuff, and then I come in and say my lines. And no, I was like doing the
Yeah.
whole, like jamming my finger in that stretcher, girl. So it was, I think that was the hardest part,
Yeah.
was like, along with getting all the medical jargon out and the quickness that you naturally have to get it out with. It
Yes.
was like the physicality combined. I was like, it was a learning experience. It was a learning
Yeah,
experience.
I'm sure. I was going to ask about the medical jargon because, like I said, we both watch so many medical shows. And then I think, how do they even memorize this? Like, if you're not a doctor, like,
Yeah.
how do you memorize this stuff? And like, what's the secret?
I know. I think it's definitely a lot harder for the actors who play like doctors and surgeons, because some of those scenes, I mean, we'd have like our consulting producers on set who are retired ER doctors, and they would be like, because it's another language. And
Yeah.
so you almost, I think the secret is to, instead of memorize it as normal dialogue, you have to first understand it, so that as you say it take after take, you know what it is you're saying. You're not just like saying the words, because
Yes.
it is a completely different world.
100%. Yes. It's like insane. Well, kudos to all of you, really, on it. It's like, I enjoy watching it. I never be in it, but anyway, it's all good.
I know
Um,
I could never be in it in real life.
right? Oh God, like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I can hold your hand and make you feel comfortable, but that's about as far as
Yeah.
I could.
I know I can't see blood or anything, please.
Right? I know for sure. Okay, and then as I said, of course, what would be a medical drama without a little bit of romance? And you, of course, have this thing going with actor Jack Bannon, who I love. Like, he's so good in this, right?
Is
But he's
he
a
not
dirty dog,
so
man. He's
wonderful?
a
I
dog.
know. I know. He is incredible. He made my job so easy. Made my job so easy. You naturally get nervous and worried before you meet the person and come to set and stuff, because you're like, okay, I see, like, we're gonna have this whole story, the two of us, and this is mainly who I'm gonna be shooting with the whole
Yeah.
season. I hope to God we get along. You don't always get that.
Yeah, well, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Listen, you've
So,
been on a lot of shows, a lot of sets. I'm sure, you walk on and like, okay, you gotta hop into bed with this one, or like, how
oh
does
yeah.
chemistry become instant? Because with him,
It
it felt good. It felt good watching you
Yes,
guys.
it was so natural with Jack, because he is such a kind and warm and giving partner. He is so present all the time. It's never like I was talking with him and he's like every time we'd have a conversation, he'd be like,
Hmm.
okay. And then that's exactly the energy he'd give me in our scenes, whether or not he was on camera. He'd be here the whole time. And then he'd ask me, like, okay, is there anything you need differently from me? And it just made it so easy. It was effortless. My scenes with him were the easiest part of the show.
Wow.
It was easy for me to access emotional points whenever he was there as well, because he would give so much. So he just, kudos to him. And Jessica will say the same thing about her scenes with him. He
Yes.
just gave so much. He's just incredible to work with,
Yeah,
truly.
and you guys have a little bit of a confrontation too, right?
Yeah. Which was so hard, because in real life, Jessica and I, like, the first time we met, we went to breakfast and we sat there for like 3 hours and we're like sobbing and like telling each other life stories, and then to have to like be a little, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this, it was like so in between takes, we're like, did you like that? I'm like, okay. It's just like,
Oh no, it's all good. It makes it work. Like I said, I really enjoyed this series, and fingers crossed for another season. I
yes,
hope it's
fingers
gonna. I know
crossed.
nobody's seen it. Well, tomorrow it drops, right? Is that when it
Yes.
drops? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Okay, good, good. We're good timing.
Uh,
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about. Oh, and sorry. Well, before we get off topic of the Pulse, I want to also talk about some of the other co-stars in there, because you've got some
yes.
really great actors. Like, I love Nestor Carbonell. I just love him.
Oh, he's incredible.
Justina Machado, seeing her in a role like this, it's very different for
It's
her.
so refreshing for her. And now she's going to do Broadway. I'm
I
so happy
know,
for her.
right? Like,
But yeah, being able to work with Nestor, with Justina, I love Willa. I think
yeah,
Willa is
Willa's amazing in this show. She really is.
so
Yeah,
incredibly strong. She carries the show so well.
yeah,
It really, I think that they cast actors who were so similar to their characters as well. No one is really like a full stretch. And that's what helps it stay grounded too, is that like, you know, where some of the dialogue they would change because they would hear us talking, you know, in the break room or something or at lunch, and they'd be like, oh, that I like that. And so they would like add that in. And
Yeah,
it just, I don't know, every actor in this project has just been so kind and wonderful to work with. And
that's great.
yeah, I think I was most excited about Justina and Nestor for
Yeah,
sure.
they're it's fun to watch them together too. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great series. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So best of luck with its success,
Thank
I
you.
have to say. I want to go back on your some of your other credits because one of the earlier things that you did was American Horror Story, which, oh, it's so scary. Like it's oh my God, but it's great. But I am a Ryan Murphy fanatic. Like
Yes,
anything that that
yes.
man does, I will watch. I don't care. Even Dr. Odyssey, I'm staying there. It's the most ridiculous show on TV, but I can't stop watching it. Like,
Because it's from him.
right,
Yeah.
he's got the magic touch. What
Mhm.
is it about Ryan? What is it like to work with a man, a genius like that?
Coming in on season 8 of that show was not easy because it was already so established.
Yes.
I was such that will always be one of the most special experiences for me because it was my first job in LA.
Yeah.
It was my first time working in a studio and on a lot. And I was such a fan of the show and such a fan of Ryan that booking that felt like I was in a movie or something. I just was like, is this really happening to me?
Wow.
Um, and the scripts were like under lock and key, and they would get hand delivered to your home, and you
Wow.
sometimes get them like the day before you'd start shooting, and you're just like, what am I going to be working on for the next few weeks? So it just still to this day is one of the most incredible experiences of my life working at that caliber of creativity, where every detail from the costumes to the set to the production, everything is so thought of, and he goes through everything.
Yeah.
He is a control freak in that sense where they're his babies, and he would want to see the wardrobe for each character. And
Amazing.
okay, even though he had so many other shows going on, and so I just have tremendous respect for him and
Yeah.
for what he does. And I loved working on that show. It was
I'm
just
sure. Yeah. Very juicy. Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know how he does it with so much
no,
ongoing.
I mean, his brain must be like bigger than the average person. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Okay. True story. Working with Kevin Hart, how do you keep a straight face?
You don't. So you don't keep a straight face, and you just, thankfully, whenever the cameras were rolling, he wasn't his
Yeah.
normal self.
Right.
Because the version of him that you see during stand-up is just who he is. So
Yes.
when he's living and talking in his everyday life, that is how funny he is. Everything is a bit, and it's hilarious. But I think because his character, the kid, was so serious, whenever we were rolling, he thankfully was also in that world, and so it made that part easy. But it was so much fun because I was because you naturally think like, oh, they're like putting on like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff, but no, that is him to a T, and
Yeah.
he's hilarious.
Yeah.
It was
He's a fun guy. Yeah. No question for sure. Okay.
and
Mayor
Wesley
of Kingstown.
Snipes to
Talk
work
about another genius, Taylor Sheridan. I mean, what
Sheridan.
else can I say?
Incredible. I've just finished the second season of Lioness.
Oh,
Um,
it's so good, huh?
So good. I remember when I had read for another role on Mayor of Kingstown for season 1, and he asked if he could get on the phone with me to give me notes because he wanted me to retape. And he's got the most like iconic voice because you like pick up the phone, he's like, Ash. And you're like, hi, Taylor. And
Yeah.
talk about another huge producer who still is the same, cares about every single detail, about every facet of every single show. And at this point, he's got so many shows going on, but he
Yes.
still cares about everything is still his baby.
Yeah.
And so it was so much fun to work on that. And they foster such a like family environment on their shows. And so it was just nice to come in and get to be a part of that and play
Yeah,
coach.
I've spoken to Hugh millions of times. He's great. But you got to shoot here
Love
in
you.
Kingston. You were here in Canada shooting that, so that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I came in on season 2 that we were shooting in Pittsburgh. So I
Oh,
never,
okay, okay, right, right,
yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
forgot about
So
that.
we were
Yes,
in
sorry about that.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, we'll
Yeah.
have to get to hear first. Oh, well, let's talk about now our little secret too, because again, another great co-star like Lindsay Lohan. I mean, she's really, I'm so happy for her because she's really turned it
Right.
around. And
Right.
this film was so cute. Like just,
It was so
oh
cute.
my
And
God, the
Ian,
cast.
Ian,
Yeah,
Ian Harding is just the most like delicious human. Like you can't not love him. And Lindsay Lohan, I mean, I'm a girl from the 90s, and so she was my everything. And
yeah,
getting to work with her, I just was like, it was another pinch me moment where we'd be standing there like ready to roll, and she's like, we're talking about like our babies because I'm a mother as well, and she had just
yeah.
become a mother when we were shooting. So we're talking about like breastfeeding or something, and I'm just like, did I just like have a conversation about motherhood with Lindsay Lohan?
Sing.
Insane. And the premiere was so beautiful because there were people lined up. We were at the Paris Theater and it's this huge block leading up to it. And there were
Yeah,
people lined all up and down the block with posters for her. She has got the most loyal fan base, the most dedicated people who just love her.
yeah.
And getting to see this resurgence in her career. I mean, I'm so excited for Freaky Friday too.
Yes.
She's only getting started. She's got so many things in the pipeline. So it was so, and Kristen Chenoweth.
Oh, yeah. I mean, don't even. I want to become best friends with Kristen
Chenoweth! I will
Chenoweth.
scream her name until the day I die. She's
Yeah,
incredible and
yeah,
so sweet. She
yeah.
sent me this video after we wrapped, and she's like in bed, and she's like, don't mind me, I have no makeup on. I just want, and she's just like sends me this minute-long video, and I'm like, ah, Kristen
She's a
Chenoweth.
doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is a doll. I've interviewed her
Hey.
too, and she's just I love her so much.
I
Like,
know.
did you ever watch Schmigadoon on Apple
No,
TV?
I never saw.
Okay, you need to watch that
Okay, I have to.
series. If you are a Broadway loving girl, then
Yes.
you have to watch Schmigadoon. It is
Oh,
so wonderful. That's all I'm
okay.
going to tell you. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Okay, and
Oh,
so just to wrap up, we've got a couple things coming up. But are you in the Mike Tyson Iron Mike? Is this true
what?
that you're in it in the film?
Oh, yes. I came in on the finale. I think it was episode, how many episodes were in that? It was a limited series. I think they did 6 episodes. No, 8. And I came in
Okay.
on 8. And
Okay, so can you tell us who you are, or can you
I
tell us anything
played
about it?
Mike Tyson's current wife. Her name is Kiki Spicer. And so
Okay.
the episode, by the time we get to the finale of that show, he has gone through his whole journey, and you see the ups and the downs and his, relationship with women. And
Yes.
so it was fun shooting that because I got to play like the young version of her where we first meet her because they met when she was only a teen. And then I also got to play like the older version of her that's like having babies and, like going
Yeah.
through the nitty-gritty with him. So it was so much fun. And Trevante Rhodes is just a
Oh, what a good guy. Yeah.
phenomenally talented actor.
Yeah.
He really put a lot into that role. And so yeah, that was so fun to be able
Yeah, I
to.
look forward to seeing that for sure. So anything else you want to plug or talk about other than Pulse and anything else on the, or are you just
I
taking a
have
little
a
break? Because you're a busy girl.
Yeah, I have a movie that I start shooting in June that will be announced soon, and
Okay.
it's a really tough, difficult. It's the kind of role that I had manifested for myself for a while.
Good.
She's a leader. She's dealing with like this post-apocalyptic viral outbreak type of film, and so I'm like really, really excited about that. We're in the gym. We're prepping for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a good kind of busy.
Well, that's amazing. I'm very much looking forward to that. I'll keep an eye open for that. But you're so good in Pulse. People watch Pulse. It's great. It's a great
Yes,
series.
please.
And a real pleasure to have the opportunity to chat, have this lovely chat with you, Ash. So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you.
You too, my dear. Take care, and we'll see you soon for sure. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.